All right. Welcome back, everybody, to Altcoin Daily, where you subscribe for daily videos on everything going on in the cryptocurrency space. Let me know in the comments which cryptocurrencies you want us to talk about and you want us to cover in our videos. For me personally, I've been increasing my risk tolerance over the past few months and probably over the next few months, and just getting more exposure to altcoins because, in my opinion, we are in a maturing bull market and there is money to be made. Now, videos on this channel are never buy or sell signals. We're just giving you information. Ultimately, you will have to make your own decisions. But if there's a specific coin that you want us to cover, let us know in the comments. Maybe it's Cardano, a Polkadot, an XRP, Uniswap. I've actually been seeing a lot of comments for some lower cap coins. I've been seeing AMI comments. I've been seeing Eternity Chain comments, Vesper, Glitch Protocol. I mean, there are tons of altcoins. Most of them are not investable, but a lot of them are pretty interesting, right? And even the ones that aren't investable still pump. So let me know, comment your thoughts below. Let's start with some recent news. I want to talk about Bitcoin, then we'll talk about Ethereum, and then we'll talk about both Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'm extremely bullish on both Bitcoin and Ethereum for different reasons. Let's start with Bitcoin. Long-term investors continue to hodl despite Bitcoin's $1 trillion market cap. Before I share with you the rest of the data on this, you need to hear what Michael Saylor has to say on a recent fireside chat. Although Bitcoin's at $1 trillion market cap today, in his opinion, over the next probably 10 years, Bitcoin is going to 100x.
We've only got 2 or 3 minutes left, so just very, very briefly, just answering
Sure.
these questions. You think it's going to be $100 trillion market?
I do. I think it's a no-brainer. It flips gold because that's 10 trillion, and so it's 1 trillion now. So it'll run there pretty fast, and then I think it'll kind of start to grow progressively, not at 200% a year, but 100%, and then 50%, and then 30%, and then 20%. And ultimately, the elephant in the room here is there's $100 trillion of treasury assets that are like negative yielding debt or low yielding debt. That $100 trillion of assets and indexes, that all has a negative real yield. And so it doesn't work for insurance companies and for long-term investors and for corporations. They're going to need to find something that's got long duration with a positive yield in every monetary environment. And Bitcoin is the perfect engineered treasury asset. If you were coming out of central casting saying, design me an asset that an insurance company can hold to fund insurance policies for 30 years, or design me an asset for Apple Computer to hold instead of cash. I mean, Bitcoin is the ideal asset, and there's nothing else that's close.
Bitcoin is the ideal asset and nothing else comes close. We're talking about asymmetrical upside returns where nothing can really stop the Bitcoin network. It's pretty much impossible to stop the Bitcoin network. And if you know that, you start to realize because the world is turning digital, because the world is becoming more centralized, if you want something that gives us a way to opt out, the answer is Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, according to Michael Saylor, although it has a $1 trillion market cap today, although it is $50,000 today, it can 100x from here. 50,000 times 100 is 5 million. So could you wait 10 years for a price of 5 million per Bitcoin? Come on, Michael, why are you so bullish? There must be something that keeps you up at night. There must be something that worries you.
What worries you then? You're obviously heavily invested, heavily convicted. What worries you around the investment paradigm, the market? I mean,
Look, I think a rational, honest person has to accept that there's always black swans. There's unknown unknowns. It's 12 years old. There's a lot fewer in 12 years, but you have to accept the fact of a black swan. So I can't discount that. It's a good asset. It's such a good asset that what you see is billions and tens of billions and hundreds of billions of dollars of assets flowing out of other assets. So I think that you're going to have banks that don't embrace it. They'll be threatened by it. And it's threatening to gold. It's threatening to silver. It's threatening to bonds. and it's upending the power structure in fintech. Like Square and PayPal, they're getting millions and millions of new users because they have it, and that's threatening to Facebook and Google.
Yeah.
So I think that it's such a good thing that you're going to get pushback, and the pushback will be either FUD, environmental FUD, oh, it's not great for the environment, or you'll get regulatory FUD. I heard that someone's going to tax it, or it's possible theoretically that someone might theoretically do something, because what do you say when it's, but if people didn't have that FUD, I feel like it would all be trading at $1 million a coin right now. I mean, in theory, why in the world wouldn't you have replaced all of gold, all of silver, and all negative yielding sovereign debt with this stuff? And that takes you up to 30 trillion right there. So I think that the FUD will come, and I think that there'll be a lot of entities that'll have a vested interest in mudding those waters, just because something that's growing 200% a year that accelerated to grow 400% a year is disruptive. Matt, I would say, and I don't think this is hyperbolic, I think that Bitcoin is the single most disruptive technology in the world right now. It's a monetary fire. And if you want an indicia of that, it got to $1 trillion in 12 years. Facebook still didn't get to $1 trillion. And it took Google 22 years, and it took Apple 42 years. Nothing in the history of technology ever got to $1 trillion in 12 years without a marketing budget. Yeah. So it is disruptive, and there's going to be sparks that will happen. Just like, you go fast, you break the speed of sound, you're going to get a shock wave.
And on-chain data shows that Bitcoin hodlers tend to agree with Michael Saylor. In bull markets, usually old coins tend to move more. As the price rises, people who have been holding forever naturally tend to take some profits. This increases the relative supply of younger coins in the network. At previous Bitcoin local tops, around 50% of the Bitcoin supply was younger than 6 months. We are currently sitting significantly below this level at 36%. TLDR, people are not selling their Bitcoin at $50,000. People are waiting for much higher prices. Bitcoin at $56,000. Do you think we're going to look back at this video and go, wow, this was so cheap, or wow, I should have took some profits? For me personally, I continue to hold. Final piece of news with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is more a substitute for gold than the dollar, says Fed Chair Powell. So the chair of the Federal Reserve, obviously they don't love Bitcoin, but they're basically saying Bitcoin is a substitute for gold. I mean, this is good, and I like the way they're thinking about this. If they were thinking about this like Bitcoin is going to be a direct threat against the dollar, that'd be bad maybe for Bitcoin in the short term. But because they're thinking about it like this is really good. So let's talk about Ethereum. Ethereum's ratio of token supply on exchanges, 20%, is now sitting at a 28-month low. 28 months, that's a lot. Ethereum is getting taken off exchanges. Ethereum is going through a little bit of a supply shock itself. 8.2% of Ethereum's circulating supply is locked in DeFi. What does this mean? I tweeted this out the other day and people did not know the takeaway. The takeaway is that Ether is getting taken off the market and getting locked up in DeFi protocols. This is extremely bullish. 9.2 million Ethereum, or 8.2% of ETH's circulating supply, is now locked in DeFi. Majority of that Ethereum is locked in 5 protocols: Maker, Compound, SushiSwap, Uniswap, and Aave. These are like the blue chips in the DeFi space, right? If the ETH 2.0 deposit contract, which also you have to lock up your Ether, which also takes supply off the market, if the ETH 2.0 deposit contract was considered as DeFi, there would be a total of 12.7 million Ethereum locked up, making 11% of the circulating supply locked in DeFi. So with 11% of the circulating supply locked in DeFi, with a lot of Ethereum leaving exchanges, with people coming into Ethereum through DeFi, through NFTs, through gaming, through all this stuff, how can you not be bullish on Ethereum this year? And, we continue just to see this number go up and up and up, right? I remember when 1 million locked in DeFi was a lot. Now we're at, almost 10 million. Rich Dad Poor Dad author says that he is buying Bitcoin and Ethereum because the economy is screwed. I liked what he had to say about this. Rich Dad Poor Dad author Robert Kiyosaki says that he is racing to buy Bitcoin and Ethereum and precious metals as the economy weakens. In a new Rich Dad radio show podcast episode, the best-selling author and entrepreneur says that while he does not wish to argue over which store of value asset is superior, he is currently scrambling to own as much Bitcoin, ETH, and gold as he can. This is his exact quote. So I'm just grateful that I have a lot of gold, silver, Bitcoin, and Ethereum, and I don't get into the argument. Peter Schiff is always arguing about gold and silver, and Max Kaiser is arguing back, I think. Why the heck are you guys arguing? Just get as much as you can right now because the government is screwed. We're screwed. Our whole economy is screwed. We're so deeply in debt, it's like sinking into quicksand, right? And you're arguing about gold, silver, Bitcoin. Just buy something. This is awesome. And more people are starting to think like this. Thinking, I better just get a little bit of Bitcoin. Maybe I ought to get some Ethereum. People are interested in having their money gain value and investing in the future of digital assets. All right, which coins do you want us to cover going forward? Comment below, and hopefully we get a chance to talk about them or at least look into it. I mean, there's so many coins, we're not going to get to all of them, but if there's something that legit is making news or is interesting, we will talk about it. My name is Aaron at Altcoin Daily. Make sure you are subscribed. This is an exciting year to be in cryptocurrency. I'll see you tomorrow.